email question here.
Okay.
I'm a man. I have a female friend who complains about not getting asked out. She does not dress or act very feminine. How do I tell her if she wants to get guys' attention, she should dress and act more feminine?
If I'm going to be honest and just straight, that's all we have time for. So this is the thing. She complains about it, but sometimes there's a lot of fear there, and it's easier to put it on the opposite sex, and it's easier to not be feminine and not be attractive. Maybe if you have past wounds like Gabriel talked about, and it's a way of almost deflecting the fact that she knows she's not getting any dates, and it's a way to have a conversation with this opposite sex person too as well, with her friend. But at the same time, deep down, if she wanted to date and she knows things that she should be doing but just doesn't, and at the end of the day, he should be able to be a real friend and actually just tell her the truth really kindly, lovingly, gently. Just tell her straight out, well, if you want to date someone, then maybe you should do A, B, and C. But it's not a put down on her, but at the same time, don't just sit there and complain about it and then not do anything either. It's like, there's no grace in that at all.
Yeah. And I would try
What would be
like
some phrasing that you think would, because I assume that kind of is the question, like, what is a thing I can say? Like, how would I phrase that? How do I have that discussion?
Yeah, I wouldn't go after it in terms of like, now you need to change this and you need to change that and you need to change this. But like, hey, I think you're an awesome person. I really hope you find someone special that's like a great match for you. And for me, you could say sometimes girls are hard for me to understand. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what it is they want. So I just want to share with you some insights that I think I might have to male psychology that could help you to understand what it is guys are looking for. And so that way it's like, ooh, I'm getting the inside scoop on the way what guys think and what they're interested in. So it's more like this extra intel that she's getting from you as opposed to a critique of her lack of feminine behavior, mannerisms, or outfits. And so I would try to present it that way and just explain that, like, femininity is really attractive to masculinity. I mean, that's why there's been this huge explosion of the whole trad wife thing. It's like, wait a minute, you're wearing a sundress and you want to be with your own children? And you'll cook food? Like, sign me up, that's all I need. Like, just,
It's true.
It's like,
he's right.
And they're like fiercely attacked. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. That's a whole other conversation, but
it is. But I mean, those simple principles have created this whole surge of like, what the heck? Like, it's that simple? Like, you guys really just want some respect and love and femininity and a woman who just wants to be the heart of her home.
And it's not a weakness.
Yeah.
That is not a weakness. It's honestly a strength that women have. And you can tell her very gently.
Yeah. And maybe a weakness that they feel that they don't have. It's like, I just
don't know how. I didn't know how.
Like, bone in my body. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's like, learn. Like find good female mentors, who exude not just pure stereotypical femininity, but a woman is really a graceful woman of God, and living that out, embracing her vocation. Spend time with that woman, and obviously, I think if you're taking it from the approach of like, here's an inside scoop of what guys are ultimately looking for, then I think she can put two together and decide, okay, how attractive do I want to be? And I don't think she has to change her whole personality and, dress in twirly outfits every single day of the week if that's not what she's into. But I think that might be a way that she could receive it. Well,
yeah. No, that's good. Yeah.
What do you think, Josiah? What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think that this is the biggest problem in Catholic dating, but
talk.
You want me to? Okay.
Yeah, go.
Here we go. Okay. I think I've said this to Jason. I've said this to Jason before, and I will say it on the show publicly. I don't know if I've said this on the show before yet. I think that
are you going to get us more shadow banned than we already are?
Gosh, I know.
No. That's literally not possible. I think that as much as the sexual degenerate culture needed to be counteracted by a large volume of teaching modesty and purity, that I think that we did it in a way that a large percent of young people of my generation didn't understand it And so I see often young women, this is not me saying, I'm not going to do the whole both sides thing, because it's, it's just an excuse. We don't have to do that. We can just be honest. I see often young women using modesty as an excuse to dress in just like a potato sack, and or they think modesty is literally like making themselves unattractive.
Yeah, it's a little misunderstood. I would agree.
Yeah. And that really frustrates guys, because we can't, it's hard for us to it's frustrating to look at the other gender, the opposite sex, and be attracted to them as women, or see them as beautiful as women, but see them not put in the effort for, men are more visual, and see them not put in the effort. But then be constantly preached about how we need to be, as the young men need to be putting in all this effort and doing all this pursuit, but then the women aren't putting in any effort to make themselves something desirable to be pursued.
Do you think?
And I'm not saying they don't have inherent worth. I'm just saying, on the dating market kind of thing, if you want to be, if you want demand, you got to give supply, basically.
Now, do you think that part of it may be the women are wondering, okay, wait a minute, how do I strike that balance of not being seductive and overly flaunting my figure, while at the same time not going to the extreme that you can't even tell I'm a female human being by the burlap sack that I'm wearing, or my shapeless plaid ankle-length jumper, and they're wondering okay, where's that line? How close can I get to revealing the gracefulness of my figure or whatever without leading men into an occasion of sin? Because typically the women who are concerned enough about modesty, would rather go perhaps too far in that direction than potentially be an occasion of sin for men. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
No, I know.
I think that is a thing. I think you're right.
I don't.
I think
some women don't know. They haven't been taught, and I see this a lot in high school or junior high when the girls are coming and hitting puberty, and the moms aren't teaching them what they need about their femininity, and you can tell the girl's uncomfortable, and, there's certain things she just doesn't like about herself. She doesn't know what to do. And some of these women, there's an entire generation of women that have not been taught how to be feminine. I was in that generation. I grew up with, my mom, who was out building empires, and she did the best she could as a single mother. But I didn't have some Martha Stewart at home, or a grandmother who was all about the cooking and the cleaning and being this Catholic mom and having this Catholic essence of this Catholic heart running a home like Kimberly Hahn does so well. I had to learn. I came into marriage completely handicapped. I was very aggressive. I was very just, I don't know, curt almost. I just didn't have that femininity that should have been taught to me, and I think the 60s left my generation motherless, kind of teaching us how to be the heart of the home, because it was seen as a weakness at the time. And it really affected an entire generation, and there's a lot of casualties from it. And I suffered in marriage in the beginning. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to clean properly. I went to the best schools. I had a nanny. I had all the things done for me, and I felt completely handicapped and useless when it came to running a household, and it can't be that hard, but I had to learn a lot of things. And do I still do it perfectly? No. But I tried. I'm learning. I take care of our children. Obviously, I do what needs to be done, but a lot of these women just aren't taught that. And I was watching this woman's I wish I knew who she was, but she said this story when she went to school. The teacher handed around the entire class of these women, because it was, I think, an etiquette or modesty class or something, right? I don't know. And there was a bowl of candy, and there was one candy that was unwrapped, and the rest of the candies were all wrapped. And she said, okay, everybody just take one. And everybody took one, and the only one that was left over was the unwrapped piece of candy. And this story hit me, because she says, why didn't anyone want this piece of candy? Because it didn't have a wrapper, that there could be germs on it, that it was just unwrapped and just there, and you just didn't know. And some things, and I'm probably not going to get this right, so don't get mad at me, people watching, but basically it's there's something about this sacredness, or just this this mystery almost when you're flaunting everything that's just taken away. And that can't, like, nobody wanted the unwrapped candy. And honestly, that's how I used to feel when I was dressing that way and I was sleeping around. It, like, nobody really wanted me, but I didn't know any other way. And it's something they have to learn. And there's plenty of YouTube channels and Instagrams and Pinterest where these women can learn, but they could be really insecure in that. And just give them grace in that as well. And at the same time, there's also, well, I'm not giving in to these misogynist men who are expecting me to look like some little, like, pinup woman and feed them and clean their household and blah, 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 blah. Hey, I went through that too, okay? Like, it's a thing that you have to go. But at the end of the day, it is about your own healing. It is about how you see yourself as a woman, the things you've experienced, the things you've healed from. It's not about submission. It's not about, like, being less than or under. It's about walking alongside. And we have a specific role within our homes, within our marriage as mothers that God has given us solely. I mean, when God put life into my womb, he left his fingerprint in my womb, and he left everything that I needed to be a mother to that child, period. And it's a gift and it's a grace. And there is this femininity and just embracing your womanhood and your motherhood, and just, it's beautiful, but it's messy and it's hard and you don't understand it. But at the same time, you have everything you need as a woman to do whatever it is God is asking you to do. And that includes being feminine, being graceful, and it may be something that you have to learn, but it can be done. It can absolutely be done, but it's not about being submissive or fulfilling some fantasy. It's more than that. And you're doing it not just for you, but for God, because we want to make Catholic look good. We want to make our vocations look good. I'm not some frumpy stay-at-home mom, like, just my hair's a mess, I don't take care of myself. I mean, that's what society wants us to think, right? Like, wow, I have no life and I'm miserable and I'm depressed and I'm just at home cleaning and cooking and I'm just being submissive to this man. I mean, what a load of garbage. You know, I am so fulfilled and happy and loved. And is it hard? Oh, yes. My own healing, I'm still doing it. But at the same time, I am stepping into what God has created me to be, unashamed of that and unapologetic. And so should you as women.
Josiah, I would imagine as a single young adult Catholic male, you probably feel like, well, we got a lot of people in different camps. One camp of the woman being saying, like, look, I can dress however the heck I want. If a guy has bad imagination, that's his problem. I can wear my yoga pants to Sunday Mass, and I can do this and I can do that. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you know, people dressing in a way that it's, you know, as I had mentioned, it's hard to tell even if they're female or not, because they're afraid if the sight of their ankle is going to cause someone to mortally sin. And you probably feel like, you know, where's that healthy middle ground? You know, where are those ladies out there? And who knows? They might be watching the show being like, I'm right here. What are you talking about?
Or they're mad at us. I don't know.
Right? Like, you know, who knows? But that's my guess, is that you've got virtuous women not knowing quite where to strike the balance when it comes to fashion and modesty. But at the end, modesty is it's a fruit of the Holy Spirit, and it's a mastery over all your exterior acts. It's not about misogyny. It's not about a man can't control his imagination. No, it's a virtue that both men and women need to practice, and it's the mastery over your exterior acts, and that only comes from a living relationship with the Holy Spirit. So when it comes to fashion, like, I don't know, I haven't dove much into online women's modesty fashion stuff.
Oh, please, you know, if you're being immodest, just get over it. You know it deep down,
modest, women. But feminine and attractive.
I know, but some women are like, well, I'm trying to be modest.
Can you do that again? Can I get I'm going to be a little directory here. Can I get a clean take on the please?
Oh, please.
Just a clean retake on that?
Oh.
Not that I'm going to cut that or anything.
Yes, you will, but it's true. Content. It's just like women know when they're being immodest. You know, but we're talking about modesty, but also the opposite end of the spectrum to those women watching, that they're like, well, I'm not dressing like that. But sometimes you should be modest, because you know when you walk out of the house and you shouldn't be wearing that. I know exactly what that's like. And you're like, is this too short? Is this too tight? If you're asking yourself that, yes, it is. Go change.
You already answered your own question.
Because then the whole time that you're out, you're like pulling it down or pulling cover. Yeah. Why? And people see you uncomfortable, you know, but at the same time, just listen to your conscience. Just listen to your conscience. God is speaking to you. He loves you enough to talk to you. Listen. You'll be happier in the end.
Hey, if you enjoyed that clip, I'd encourage you to please like, subscribe, share, comment. That helps show it to more people. And then also submit your question at the email live@chastity.com, or submit your question or call in through our Discord server so we can talk to you in person on our next show.